what I did is an example of what not to do. So all these videos that you're going to watch now, you really should not copy anything I did, because everything that I did was wrong. Now have a look at what you shouldn't do. You can see where the ship's drifted upwards. Feels like the stand's going to go over. Just to well, as you can see, I'm all at home now, but I did try to get some commentary on the way, and the wind noise was pretty bad, so I missed some of what I'm going to tell you now. I actually did make on the boat, but the wind noise was so bad that you couldn't really hear it, and I was just getting used to using the equipment, and so the photography, I feel, improves as I get used to filming on the boat. So if you can just bear with the terrible jumping around and the wind noise. So the two difficult things for me coming from the Pacific Ocean is where I've sailed before, and that you don't have the tides, the big tides, so that the water disappears and reappears. You don't have this problem generally, and you don't have strong currents. And the currents in the Thames Estuary and the Bristol Channel were pretty considerable, and so it took me quite a while to come to terms with these two issues. What happened after I sailed out the Thames Estuary was I hit the tide problem, and so I would sail during the day in one direction and then heave to at night and point the boat away from the shore so I didn't end up getting driven onto the shore. And I would find the next day I was over in France. I knew this because my cell phone said you had now entered France, and so being heaved to and strong winds, it was quite strong. It was probably 20 knots the first night in the Channel, and it took me right over, blew me right over to into France. And then the next day I had to sail back and so on. But in the process, I put my navigation lights on and everything, and left everything running. And at this point I was really happy because it took me a long time, or a little bit of time, to get the navigation, to get to grips with the menu system in the navigation equipment and how to get it set so that it would actually show the boat and the chart would move as you moved. I wasn't doing this at first, and so I was kind of lost initially. So I couldn't use the navigation system to get out of Canvey Island. But I did start to use the navigation system, as you saw, to get round the headland into Hastings and around there. And so I was starting to feel quite comfortable with the navigation system, with the sailing system I was able to heave to, and started to get the self-steering worked out, and so I was starting to feel quite master of my situation. And in the midst of all this, I woke up in the morning and all the power was gone. There was no power in the boat, no electricity. And so no way to start the engine. And so all systems were gone apart from the sailing, the wind system, all navigation. The only navigation system I had after that was a cell phone. And so all these things were taken away from me, and I had to learn to deal with this situation. And so you'll see that on the next videos. And I had a few adventures in the process. And eventually I was quite happy, comfortable sailing without any of those electrical systems I was managing. And until at Falmouth, I had a spreader problem with the mast, and the spreader fell out, and so I had to stop, and the Coast Guard helped me into Falmouth, where I sorted all my systems out, so that worked out quite well, and Falmouth was a wonderful place. So this is the trip from Hastings to Falmouth, all without any electrical systems, without engine, without any recourse to any of that stuff. Okay, enjoy. Somebody came for his picture taking. You can see the sun's just setting now, and the seas came right off. It was really rough earlier, and it just took really no time at all to calm down. And I managed to get, we're on the Genoa because the wind's died back, and so we've got the Genoa flying. It's not good for me to stand up, but I'll try to briefly. You can see the Genoa's under there, and yeah, we're completely out of sight of land and preparing for a night, hopefully, of sailing under self-steering tonight. I'm going to risk it because it's the only way I'm going to get any distance. You can see we've got the self-steering arrangement here. It's coming back to here and up to there, and it ties on to the main sheet or the mainsail, and it seems to work as long as you don't mind exactly where you want to sail. It kind of sails to the wind. So we've got our flag flying. You see hardly any wind at all, but I'm starting to feel a little bit better. There's no electricity, I don't know, I can't take any position at all. I found out the compass isn't that accurate. And so if I hold on carefully, I'll be alright. So here's Tinkerbelle sailing into the blue yonder. Don't know where we are, apart from we're in the English Channel somewhere. And we do know that we're heading west. And when we get far enough, we'll head inland and try to pick up the corner of England, try to pick up the Penzance coast, and then we'll know where we are again, and we'll try to watch ourselves go round into the Irish Sea, so we know we're in the Irish Sea, and then we can take a bearing and sail from there, perhaps across to Ireland, and then when we hit Ireland we'll know we're there, and then we take another bearing and head across to Anglesey. So that's about all we can do really. We've got no navigation on board. The phone probably won't last that long, but I'm going to keep it. I'm going to charge up to full with what's left of the battery, and I'm not going to turn it on except to use it to check position. It wasn't any good here anyway because I turned it on. It said welcome to France, and it said no service. So there you go. So much for mobile phones. There you go. You only need it when you need it. Look at the colour of these clouds. They're amazing. Should we zoom in and have a look at them? Wow. It's like a big dragon. Flying fat dragon. Look at that. Flying pig with the little pig on its back. There we go. I wonder. Our new head sail is looking good, doing well. Better than the main. Kind of ship shape down there. I'm going to be sleeping there tonight. Nicely tilted over in that direction. So, I've had a cup of soup, I've had something to eat. The gas bottle ran out, there's only a little bit of gas left, so we probably won't get, I'll have to ration the gas a little bit, I think. Okay, the last of the sun going down. My only concern is that Elizabeth hasn't been able to contact me, and so she might get a bit concerned. What can you do? How's that for a steady shot in a mobile boat? Goodbye folks. Hope I see you again. I'm going to try and do a captain's log here with the camera in a new position on the table. Just have to catch it if it comes flying off. It's a bit calmer now. It's been really blowing quite strong. 17 knots continuous, I'd say, maybe gusting 20. And I found myself way out at sea, and I felt that I needed to get closer to land, just so I knew where I was, because there's no electrics on board anymore, and the bilge pump has stopped working, so the water was just building up underneath. And it does take on a bit of water, so it's necessary that it's able to bail the boat out. And so I managed to fix the bilge pump, and I had to sit on the helm and steer for quite some time this morning, many hours actually. I got so tired and I thought, no, you know, if I make a auto steering arrangement, it probably would. And in fact it did, and it's steering the course I want to steer, which is northwest, which is kind of not going straight to the coast, but it's going in the direction I want to go and taking me towards the coast. And we've been sailing all day, and now I've finally spotted some land. I don't know what it is. It could be white, a lot of white. It could be the White Cliffs of Dover. It depends on how far I got blown off course. I have no idea where I am. I can't take a position fix. There's no service on the cell phone, so anybody trying this better, you know, people say, oh, you got your cell phone, that's all right. It's not all right because there's no service here. So I'm not that far ashore here. So something to consider. Interestingly, the compass in the phone still works. That's about all it's useful for, and it's good to be able to check my compass. I felt my compass might have been a bit off, and I had a can sitting next to it, so I moved the can to see if that improves it. So things are breaking in here. You know, I'm not used to where you can and can't put your foot, and so when I get this boat into dry dock again, I'm going to really make sure that all the cupboard doors are really solid, so that if you have to put your foot on it with a kick, it's not going to give in. You hasn't been made that well enough for that. There's many things. You know, it's good to do a trip like this and find out what needs doing and what doesn't need doing. You know, after living without stuff that you need in difficult situations, you then know what you need to fix and how important that is. And I knew the solar panel was important. I knew it was important. That's why I ordered it. And that Hermes, it was terrible that it took all that time. It was supposed to arrive on Friday, Saturday, Sunday, Monday, Tuesday, and it wasn't there. Apparently it arrived on Wednesday. But you know, I had to go because there's a weather window that I need to be on. Because if I was out here in the rain, I'd probably get pneumonia and die, you know, because I've got no wet weather gear. I was going to buy wet weather gear, but there was nowhere where you could buy it. The Chandler place is hopeless as far as it doesn't sell anything like all the necessary extras of sailing. It doesn't sell. All it sells is just a general run-of-the-mill stuff. Chandler. So what else can I tell you? You can't start the motor. I'm not even going to try it. So I'm just going to sail this boat with no motor, just like I did the last boat. And I'm going to sail it with no navigation either, which isn't what I did with the last boat. I had some navigation on board. And so I'm doing that now by feel and by compass and by sighting of land and my intuition, really. It says where I am. And hopefully I can check myself if I come into land and have some service. But I'm not going to be able to do much more videoing because I cannot risk using any of the battery for anything but the phone now. And so it's that critical, really. I feel that the battery is low. And, it won't start the engine. I tried that already. So it won't even begin to turn the engine over. So it must be pretty low voltage in there. Necessary just to preserve what we have. My phone is full of charge and I only turn it on to see if there's service and then turn it back off again quickly. I've turned the screen right down low. You know, all these things you have to think about. And am I bothered? Does this frighten me? No, I'm not frightened of anything because I've learned that the universe protects us all. And what happens to you is only because of your own, what you do, what you don't do, what you refuse to see the signs around you and don't react to them. And then you've got to have a little bit of a warning shot. And if you still don't watch your warning shots, then you've got to have an accident. And so I haven't had any accidents. I'm alright, you know. I could have had some accidents here quite easily, yeah. It's very terrible environment actually, all this metal and wire and, you know, I had nothing but ropes on my last way, I had no wire at all, and what a difference that makes. No metal, everything's square corners. If you hit your head where the camera is now, you probably put holes through your skull. So, fun and games at boats. But boats, it's interesting because you could go and look at a boat on land and you think, oh, this hasn't got very nice seating. Oh, this is comfortable, nice table in the middle and everything. Believe you me, when you get to see that table in the middle, you want to throw that thing overboard because, you know, it's just going to be, you're going to be hanging onto it and ripping it off its mounting. Nothing can take what you get out here, throwing from side to side. And this is not an enjoyable pastime. This is a serious aerobic effort and an endurance marathon, really, because I'm sailing non-stop. I'm not going to stop anywhere. I can't because I'd have to negotiate some port or other. It wouldn't be worth my time. And so all I'm doing is making sure I'm away from land, making sure the wind's not going to blow me onto some rock somewhere, and I'm heaving to, with a special technique to stop the boat. It doesn't stop the boat completely, but it slows it down. And heaving to when I have to, and sailing if I can. And so the whole time I can sail, I will sail right through the night, and I'll sleep. And if there's shipping, like last night, there was loads and loads of shipping. You know, I had to be on the helm the whole time and make sure I didn't get in the path of any ships. And I had to steer out of the way of one ship. I had to take the helm off auto and steer it myself, because it looked like it was on a collision course. There you go. Mostly it's okay. A lot of fishing boats out at night. It's quite exciting, really, if you like that kind of thing. I'll be glad to get the boat to North Wales, believe you me. Okay. I'll see you in North Wales probably.